Welcome back to fight number 4 of the evening. An amateur featherweight bout. This explosive fight is refereed by Nakia Melody. 3 by 3 minute rounds in the B class division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. This gentleman weighed in at 65.6 kilos, fighting out of Noak Martial Arts, coached by Kyle Noak, Scott Nicholson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. This man weighed in at 65.9 kilos, training out of the Game Bred Martial Arts Academy in Brisbane. He is coached by Ryan Dunstan, Jason Lonergan, and Simon Clough. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ryan Bishop!
Well, Nicholson's come on with some strong striking, opens up with a nice big knee there, and he's looking for the head kick. We see Bishop with a bit of taunting early there, and will that come back to haunt him? He's now closed the distance, and Nicholson with that Muay Thai background is looking to land the knees there in the clinch.
Like he said, it looks like Bishop's wanting to take the fight to the cage.
Yeah, and we'll see if Ryan can control this cage position. He's right by his corner there. You know, with Jason Lonergan, Simon Clough, Ryan Dunstan there with him. So he's listening well. He's looking for the high crotch takedown. And Nicholson is defending well. You know,
really well.
Yeah, he's got a wide base. He's managing to prevent. And now Bishop's got the legs together and he secures the takedown. And you would know, Brooke, from your own fighting career that if you do get someone to the ground and you're not able to keep them there, it is very physically taxing for the person doing the takedown. So it's definitely within Ryan's best interest to keep this fight on the ground if he can. Nicholson's doing a good job here of escaping the hips, pushing the head, getting the hips out, and no doubt that's come from Kyle Noak's, great coaching there at Noak Martial Arts.
Bishop's got some great shoulder pressure and head pressure though, keeping Nicholson's legs together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Ryan is putting on some great, applying great pressure. But one thing that I always said when I was fighting was if they're hitting you, they're not holding you down. And if they're holding you down, they're not hitting you. And what we're seeing here is Ryan holding Nicholson down, but he's not doing any damage. So, that it's not really worrying Nicholson. Yeah, he's not in a great position, but it'd be good to see Ryan Bishop improve his position to a point where he can actually land some ground and pound. And here he's trying to tie up the legs of Nicholson, moving into side control. But Nicholson's doing a great job of pushing the head and scrambling back up. And he's trying to sink in a guillotine choke here. He's right beside his corner with Kyle Noak in it, so I'll be listening to the advice there. And as long as Ryan Bishop keeps his body on the other side to the guillotine choke there, he should be all right. He just doesn't want Scott to be able to trap him in any type of guard here and apply pressure to the neck. Ryan really needs to be working to free his head from this position. It may not be threatening for the submission, so to speak, but it's definitely not able to advance his position.
So Bishop really controlled that first round.
Yeah, we see Ryan Bishop control top position. He got up, quickly from the end of the round there, so he's looking pretty fresh. Scott is looking a little bit fatigued, and coming from a striking background, one thing with strikers, when they have to engage in the grapple for an extended period, that can build up a lot of lactic acid. So it'd be good to see if Scott's training with the Noak brothers there at Noak Martial Arts has paid off, if he's been working his grappling and he can get that lactic acid out of the upper body, so that he can come back and apply his striking. We saw him open up early in the first round really well with some nice strikes. So you know, we'll see if he can do that again. It's definitely he's definitely got to look to defend the takedown. Bishop, obviously, you know, he did have top position, didn't do any great damage there, but he definitely controlled the range and controlled position there. Ryan is looking the slightly fresher man here coming into the second round. Ryan Bishop is.
Well, like he said, it is so grueling trying to defend the takedowns as well as implement them. But
yeah, and well, we've seen a slightly low kick there by Nicholson, so Ryan's just going to take some time to recover here. He's got up to 5 minutes. It's interesting there at the start of the fight we saw Scott Nicholson fake a low shot and come up to a teep kick to the body, and that's a classic move that Kyle Noak used to utilise. He's actually stopped Peter Sabota in the UFC at UFC Melbourne with a very, very similar technique. So it's interesting, you know, Scott's obviously a very coachable guy. He's pulling off those techniques that his coaches are telling him. And we're back in action here. Again, Scott opens up with a nice heavy low kick. Ryan with some punches to the head. And Ryan seems to be trying to taunt Scott into coming closer so that he can clinch him.
Yeah, he's got a really high guard, so...
Yeah, the high guard can be dangerous when you've got a guy with heavy body kicks and knees, so, like Scott has. And a well-timed takedown there by Ryan. Lovely double-leg takedown. And Ryan's now got his head free, and he's worked over to the mount position. So this is where we might see Ryan really start to open up and use his striking to look for the submission. We see Scott walking his feet up the cage where he can bridge off. But Ryan has maintained his mount very well here. You can see he's grapevining his legs here in the mount. Makes it really hard for the bottom person to get any sort of bridging power. So what Ryan's doing here is just looking to maintain position and chip away with his strikes to the body. You see Scott's got an arm free, almost escaped, and he's back to his feet. Great work. We see both guys digging deep here, and Scott's come up out of the ground position, with opening up with some nice heavy strikes. Ryan definitely doesn't want to be hanging out with his back on the cage like he is there. It would seem that Scott has a slight advantage here in the striking exchanges, although Ryan lands a really nice left uppercut there, and Scott actually looked to close the distance for a takedown there. And both boys exchanging some nice knees here in the clinch, Muay Thai style.
Yeah, I was just about to say the second round we've seen some really nice exchanges.
Yeah.
Both guys pushing forward.
And one thing I can say from my time coaching Ryan Bishop is there's no quit in this guy. So, you know, I'm not sure about Scott. He seems to be a tough customer too, so we've really got a fight on our hands here. Nice, and will Ryan finish this takedown? He's looking to finish the takedown to win this second round here. Nice work. All right, this is shaping up to be a great fight here, Brooke. Both guys laying it all on the line.
Well, we know that Bishop's coming off fight of the night in Coastal Combat 1. I thought when I saw these boys weigh in, you know, it was going to be another fight of the night contender. There were fireworks. You know, they're both aggressive, they're both young, and it's everything I expected it to be. Yeah,
absolutely. This is a great fight, and this is the type of fight that MMA fans really enjoy seeing. You know, both guys utilising a range of techniques. They're going for cage control, their takedowns, their ground and pound, their stand-up striking, their clinch work. It's really a display of all the ranges that are used in MMA, so it's great to see. And it's a testament to the two camps that these guys are coming out of. Noak Martial Arts on the Sunshine Coast and Gamebred Academy down there in Brisbane.
So what are your thoughts on the third round?
I think it's a tough one. I think both guys again have got to be trying to lay it on the line. I would have to say that just because of the takedowns, I would have to say Ryan is a little ahead. We do see takedowns scored pretty heavily in MMA, but Scott has been landing some really great strikes standing. So we see both guys high 10ing there, a sign of respect, and I think they're really going to put on a show here for our last round.
Punches from
and
Bishop.
Ryan seemed to be getting the better of the striking exchange there. And Scott circles off the cage nicely there.
Really nice.
Ryan seems to be very content sitting back on the cage there, and I don't think that's a great idea with a guy with the striking prowess of Scott Nicholson. And Ryan secures another takedown there. Ryan again, he's got top position. Scott's doing a good job pushing that head and still working to get up. And we see Ryan trying to step over and lace the legs with his own legs. And what he'd be doing there is just preventing Scott from escaping his hits back and using the cage to get up. So it's definitely a battle of both guys trying to hit their own techniques here on the ground. Obviously being in top position, Ryan Bishop does have the advantage here.
I must say though, I'm really impressed with Nicholson's defense. He's only, a white belt, but he's been really good at just shutting down Bishop. I know Bishop's maintained like a great position, but he hasn't really managed to do any damage from that position.
And that is a testament to the training that Scott's getting at Note Martial Arts. One thing that I think Kyle excelled with in his career, and he's obviously passed on to his student here, is the ability to, even if he gets taken down, take limited damage, get back to his feet and fight the fight on his terms. And we see that Scott is doing that. He's always working to push the head here. He's always working to escape his hits and get back to the feet. So he's doing a great job of using sort of counter grappling for MMA. We're coming into the final minute here, Brooke. So if Scott wants to take this fight, I would say that he definitely needs to get back to his feet, use a big push here, scramble up, and try and use some of his devastating strikes to finish.
He might just get it as well.
Yeah, he's looking all right to get up here. And he'll know as well, he'll be getting good advice from his corner that that's his only option to finish. We see Ryan secures one final takedown here. Nicholson's unloading some heavy body shots there, just trying to cause some discomfort, but his main goal should be get up and land that finishing strike. And here he goes. Can he do it in the closing seconds?
What a war! Put your hands together. The first judge scored the contest 29-28 to the red corner. The second judge had it 30-27 to the blue corner. And for your winner, with a round score of 29-28, coming from the red corner, Scott Nicholson!
All right, Scott, great fight there. You know, I dare say that's got to be looking good for fight of the night. We saw some great exchanges. I know you were coming in here, Scott, with some somewhat limited grappling experience, but we saw you able to shut down Ryan's game pretty well there. Tell us about what you've been doing with your coaches there at Noak Martial Arts to work on that.
I've been working hard on the wrestling. I love my wrestling. You got to work on your wrestling. That way it doesn't get down to the ground.
Absolutely. And you were coming in with a bit of striking experience. Was your plan to look for that knockout, or what were you planning on doing coming into this fight, Scott?
I like to stand up and bang.
I think the crowd likes to see that too. And mate, what were your thoughts on your opponent? You know, it was a very tough fight. The crowd was really pleased to see it. Did you enjoy the fight? It looked like a nice, tough one. I'm glad it was you in there, not me.
It was a hard 9 minutes, I'll give you that. Well done to Ryan. Very hard opponent.
And anyone you'd like to thank, mate?
I just want to say thank you to everyone, my family, and especially all my coaches, and everyone who supported me at Noki's MMA. Thanks very much.
All right, guys, give him a round of applause. Scott Nicholson.